Alright, so I'm on my way to a business trip to Munich and I have only packed carry-on bags. I will be editing there a commercial and therefore I have a lot of film editing equipment with me and clothing for 3 nights and more importantly 3 nights for business trips. So I feel like when you are traveling, there is a huge difference between traveling for leisure or traveling for business. When you're traveling for business, I do not want to kind of wear the same clothing every single day, and I do want to look a little bit appropriate. At least that's me. I want to be looking professional. Therefore, I cannot kind of only pack the essentials, and that has always been somewhat of a challenge for me when traveling and when trying to pack, because obviously my complete remote mobile editing setup has already some weight, and then clothing in addition to that adds obviously a lot of weight, and usually I am not able to kind of hit the limitations for carry-on weight, but with these 2 bags I was actually able to be underneath the weight limit. So in Germany here for domestic flights, the weight limit for a carry-on bag is 8 kilograms, and the Bellroy Transit Lite with the roller is amazing. It has, if I'm not completely mistaken, its own weight is like 2 kilograms or 1.8 or something like that. So not as heavy, at least like the Hardshell case. So I really wanted to use this one, and I'm so happy that with all of the clothing and the mechanical keyboard and the DOP kit, I am below 8 kilograms. Then my backpack, the one from Alpaka, if you've watched my early impressions and unboxings, I said I wanted to use this bag because it's a tote bag. It is a little bit smaller and therefore could be perceived as lightweight and could pass as a personal item despite all of the stuff inside. I weighed it, it is about 7 kilograms, so I'm not sure if that's within the limits of a personal bag, but I really hope that no one will notice. And yeah, we'll go in to boarding in a couple of minutes, and then we will see if this works out. But so far I'm really happy that I chose this combination of this tote bag with a luggage pass-through on the Bellroy Transit Lite. It works perfectly and it rolls. Although it is just a 2-roller, I think there is some people rather prefer a 4-roller. This is a 2-roller. It still works perfectly. It stands on its own, especially considering it's a soft shell. Usually would maybe think, a soft shell would, because it is very flexible, topple over. But the way I packed it, and together with this little support system on the bottom, it stands on its own even when the Alpaka is on top. So this bag is, so far, I love it. It's amazing. And the tote bag, there are a couple of things to keep in mind, which I will cover when I'm at the hotel. But other than that, the combination here on the airport is amazing. So this was a little bit unexpected because the flight was pretty much overbooked. I could have taken my bag inside the plane, as a carry-on together with the backpack, but the flight attendants actually asked, hey, would there be anyone willing to kind of check in their carry-on bag, because we're so overly booked and every one of you has basically a carry-on bag. Is anyone willing to check in their bag or to gate check the bag? And since no one actually volunteered, I said, okay, let's help them out a little bit, and I checked in my bag. So I gotta pick that bag up now, and yeah, test could have been successful, but yeah, I volunteered. Alright, since in this part of the video I arrive at the office, let's go over what I have been packing inside the Alpaka Flow Tote for work. As I've been saying, hopefully in the introduction, I pack a lot of stuff because I needed to bring my editing equipment, and the goal for this bag was to make the people at the airport believe that this would be a light backpack and not be perceived as something that is very heavy. It was actually about 7 kilograms with everything inside. So while that would be still in carry-on limitations, I wasn't sure if this would be in personal item limitations. So that was the reason why I chose this flow tote bag, because I believed, and it actually worked, that people would perceive it as a very small and lightweight bag, despite all of the items that I packed inside this backpack. So let's start with the outside. On the outside, I have my Lark water bottle, the Pure Vis 2, which I bought for my Thailand trip. It filters and it disinfects the water. In Germany, I wouldn't need this, but I felt this is a really cool little bottle, although very expensive, unfortunately, to kind of bring into the office and for traveling. Obviously, going through TSA check, I didn't fill this up with any liquids. So yeah. When empty, this is still, because it's an isolated aluminum bottle, it's still a little bit heavy, hence the overall weight. The water bottle compartment is very spacious here on the side, but you can actually hide it away with this zipper, making the overall appearance even more slimmer if you don't carry a water bottle. Here on the outside, with these really good grab handles that actually work incredibly well, moving this bag through the gangway of the airplane. These are extremely comfortable, highly recommend. Here in this front little quick access pocket, I stored my Sennheiser Momentum 4 noise cancelling headphones, not earbuds, headphones, really comfortable. Even with glasses on, highly recommend. They fit really great in here. What I don't like about these headphones, usually you need to carry that huge bulky carrying case, but they actually fitted quite well. And I would also highly recommend, if you're going through the check or when boarding, just put these headphones on your shoulders, just so it doesn't look like you have that much in your bag. So I put that in here. Before going inside, let me just show you the bag. You have a luggage pass through. These shoulder straps, which, as you can see here, are very thin and not very wide. Although they don't offer that much padding and that much kind of weight distribution on your shoulder, because they are fairly slim, not too slim, but they are slimmer than what I used to. You would kind of think that they would dig into your shoulders, but I felt like even with all of these items inside, this was really comfortable to carry. Because they are attached to the grab handle, you can see this here, you kind of have this movement. So when you're carrying a tote bag mode, it pulls this up, and yeah, you can kind of have the full length of this grab handle. But if you put it on your shoulders, it actually slides down and the whole bag is kind of lowered on your back. It didn't matter that much, but I just wanted to mention this a little bit. You can actually detach the shoulder straps and hide them inside this small pocket, making this, let's say, normal tote bag. What I didn't like on this, the attachment points here, they feel a little bit flimsy. While this is a metal hook, I'm not too sure about this attachment point, if this will hold up many years. I'm not sure if a lot of kind of rubbing could kind of deteriorate the structure of that attachment point. Not sure about that. I cannot confirm or tell you if this will hold up over many years. But for now, I believe that Alpaka probably has thought of this, but I don't know. Just something to keep in mind for long-term review. Then you have this front access pocket with a AquaGuard zip. Let's open this up. This is somewhat of a half moon opening. Inside here I have some protein bars, then my extended EDC inside this pouch from Tactical Geek, meaning here are items inside that I always want to keep with me, but not necessarily in my pants pockets. So a phone charger, cable, usually a multi-tool, which I took out for the flight, a flashlight, cables, some gaffer's tape. I have some tools here, like that. These I kept inside, but also some wipes to kind of clean my glasses. Everything inside this pouch that always kind of move from backpack to backpack, really good. By the way, all of the items are linked below. Those are affiliate links. With those you won't pay more, but you will support this channel with a small kickback of that sale. And if you do so, thank you very much. So Tactical Geek pouch with my extended EDC. Then I have a really good power bank. This is one from Iniu. This is a 25,000 milliampere hour battery. It is small and lightweight, yet it has plenty of capacity. I actually used this in the hotel because the power outlet was so far away from the desk to power my laptop when I was kind of exporting my vlogs. And yeah, this is just a testament to how well this works. This actually has a 100 watt output input USB-C, which I used for my laptop, but it also has a 45 USB-C out in combination with an 18 watts USB-A power outlet. So this power bank is amazing because it is fairly small and compact, yet has enough juice. Then I actually brought this titanium spork because I sometimes just don't know if I want to eat something in a hotel room and there is no cutlery, so I brought this as well, titanium spork. This actually went through the TSA check without any problems. No one was asking about this, although it has this pointy fork thing. Then, oh yeah, the DJI Mic 2, the pendant for the DJI Nano. Don't forget to check out my second channel, you know, the Bow -2, where I did some vlogs, or I am doing vlogs. Then in this zippered mesh compartment up here, I have some antihistamines. It's allergy season, eye drops, lip balm, hand lotion because dry hands, and Kleenex. But that's basically everything that I've kept here in the front compartment. Let me just double check. Yeah, that's it. So that's in the front here. Then going into the main compartment. What I don't like about this main compartment actually is this is kind of like on the Bellroy sling bags, but as a matter of fact, this is probably not a negative that anyone can avoid, but this is something that is a drawback with many tote bags. So this opening is obviously a top-loading bag, but the zipper is a little bit recessed. So you have this somewhat pool, this rain gutter, where dust, dirt, but more importantly, rain could accumulate. If you're walking through, let's say, Jakarta in monsoon season, then water can kind of accumulate here and eventually kind of push through the zipper inside. This is just a trade-off that you need to think about when getting a tote bag. Most of these tote bags have a design like this, where there is, as I said, this somewhat pool area, rain gutter area, where dust, dirt, but more importantly, water can accumulate. So you have these YKK zippers opening up here. Now you can already see a little bit all of the stuff that I need for my editing gear. So this is the Blackmagic Ultra Studio HD Mini output device. So what this does, it has SDI outputs, HDMI outputs, and you want to have this kind of device to have your laptop, your editing software connect a clean or a good signal to a TV monitor. Yes, you could use the HDMI on your laptop, but sometimes you either are limited by the laptop itself. For example, I have the MacBook Pro 14-inch M3 Pro, and I can only attach two external monitors, which means either I have to sacrifice one output for the TV, but also sometimes depending on how big your timeline is, outputting to the HDMI, to the internal monitor, kind of leads to some lagging. So you want to have this output device attached via Thunderbolt to your laptop, to your editing software, to output either SDI signals or HDMI to have a lag-free experience for your client. So this is the Blackmagic Ultra Studio HD mini. So yeah, as you can see here, it is a bulky little device. Then for my laptop, I have this little case from Gura Gear, which is amazing to kind of store items. This is a Thunderbolt dock. This gives me power to the laptop, but more importantly, plenty of extra outputs to attach the Blackmagic device on one of the USB-C Thunderbolt outputs, but then giving me extra USB-C outputs for SSDs, a monitor, and my other peripherals like my keyboard and mouse. Then I have a notebook. I always jot down notes for work, but also just for to-dos with a big idea titanium bolt action pen, which I really enjoy a lot. Then I have the Evergoods Cap 2, which is my favorite little tech cradle because you can open it up like so and put it on the desk. It has my mouse, cables, SSDs, work SSDs, backup SSDs, Thunderbolt hubs if I need some extra. So everything neatly organized in here, put it on the desk. If I take out something out of my pants pockets, instead of putting it on the desk, I put it in here so that I don't forget anything in the office, especially in the office in Munich, where it would be a little bit difficult if I would forget something there. So this is my favorite tech pouch. Then obviously the laptop in the laptop slot, the 14-inch MacBook Pro M3 Pro. I mentioned in the first impression video that this bag has a suspended laptop slot, but it's not as protective as I would have liked. Everything is very bright. It has a bright inner lining. You have a zippered compartment for extra organization. I actually put my secret wallet in there, but also any receipts that I got for a cab ride and stuff like that, I also put it in here. But that's basically everything that is inside or has been inside this Alpaka Flow tote. And now let's get to the hotel. All right, so as I've said, I have arrived in the hotel and the bag is a little bit scuffed up. I just went to the grocery store and arrived back at the hotel, and I thought let's give you a small little overview of what's inside the Bellroy Transit Lite rolling case. So yeah, let's open up this bag because I checked it in. I locked some of these zippers. By the way, only the main part of the zippers has the ability to lock, but if you kind of loop this one zipper pull through this one thingy and then kind of fiddle the lock through the zipper pull and the lock of the main compartment, then you somewhat can kind of lock what's inside. I'm recording this with the DJI Nano, so please excuse that maybe this angle is not perfect to really show you what's inside, but I try to do my best here. I mean, this is a vlog style review. It has to be a little bit rough around the edges, right? So in this front compartment here on the top, that kind of is like the brain compartment, I actually stored my DOP kit because I thought when going through the TSA check, although it in air quotes only has been a year since I've been to the Hamburg airport, I thought, okay, when I put this on the TSA check, I need to take out my DOP kit, my liquids, my laptop, and the person was like, no, you don't, just leave it all in. So yeah, that was my mistake, but because I thought I needed to take everything out, I thought, okay, the best place to store my liquids and my DOP kit would be in this front brain compartment. That usually would be your admin panel for quick access to stuff that you need, like a power bank, maybe your phone, headphones, stuff like that. But for me, this was a perfect case to utilize the Gravel TSA-friendly zipper pouch that is kind of like a Ziploc bag but reusable. For me, this is perfect because this has the size that is TSA approved, is very secure in terms of keeping the liquids inside, looks great, and is very versatile. I can hang it in the bathroom and all of my liquids inside the gravel bottle or some Muji bottles is stored in this TSA friendly DOP kit. Highly recommended. By the way, I will link all of the items in the description below. With those you won't pay more, but you will support this channel with a small kickback of that sale, and if you do so, thank you very much. So this is the DOP kit from Gravel. I also have some disinfectant spray that did not fit here. I actually put it there. I was anticipating that someone would tell me, okay, this didn't fit in there, you might need it to throw it away. This is called Iberogas. This is for when you're getting heartburn. This is something that probably some of you know. The older you get, depending on what you eat, you sometimes get heartburn. So I need that. And that's basically everything that I had in this top admin panel. Again, for quick access, which I didn't need. So going into the main compartment here, beautiful. I really like this design from Bellroy. I already loved it in the backpack, basically the same one backpack that I carried to Thailand as a carry-on bag, because it has this main compartment here, but also these internal packing cubes, which make it so great. In here, I actually stored some socks and some boxers, which I really don't want to show you, to be honest. I put them in here. I actually did try a different configuration where I thought like, okay, this is also easy enough. Put whatever is in here, which I get to in a second, down here, and put my underwear up here and socks in the main compartment, which would have fit great. But what I did notice is with the bulk of my DOP kit in here and underwear in this part, I noticed it became very top heavy and nothing was here at the bottom. So I opted to have, if I have something bulky in this one, I need something similarly bulky in this bottom part. That is why I decided to put my boxers and some socks in this case to kind of even out the heft and the thickness of these compartments, just to make it very even and make sure that the weight is evenly distributed, to make sure that it cannot or it won't topple over itself. And I hope the audio was good, because this mic was kind of falling over. If not, I'm so sorry. Again, this is kind of vlog style and maybe a little bit rough around the edges. Let me just check the sound. All right, just double check the sound. It did work great. This is something that you really need to keep in mind. If you only have a t-shirt on that is a little bit softer, if you put your DJI mic like so on here, it can kind of either fold inwards or outwards, moving the microphone part away from your body, which, yeah, it's not great. You obviously don't want that to happen. So that's boxer shorts and socks in the bottom. At the top, I put my teeth. It's not retainers, it just prevents me from biting too hard on my teeth. Then my electric toothbrush. This is Philips Sonic Care. And some Kleenex tissues, because it's still allergy season like crazy. I already have 2 antihistamines in me today. So really need those as well. So have that in this part to keep everything a little bit more organized. So that's in there. In this main compartment that is suitcase style and very visibly kind of secured, I have a jacket here. For those of you who saw my vlog, I had to speak in front of a huge crowd at the German advertising awards. This was the jacket that I wore. Really loved this jacket. Then I have my mechanical keyboard. This is the knock-free split keyboard. I love this. This is a lot of weight, yes, but I always bring this because it makes my life as an editor so much easier, because I can tent it, I can split it, and keep my hands in a very natural position, making this very ergonomically friendly. This is really important to me. So despite the weight, I always bring it with me. A neck stand to prop up my laptop. So in terms of ergonomics, you also want to make sure that you're not only always looking downwards on your laptop, but have the monitors in eye height positioning. So I use this neck stand to make sure that the laptop monitor is in a position where my neck doesn't strain that much. So I bring this always. Ergonomics are really important, especially when you work a lot on your computer. That is why I brought those, despite the fact they are very heavy. I have a sweater a pair of jeans, Levi's, then a shirt from Wolf & Goat. This is bamboo. I love this fabric. Check out my video about this t-shirts. These are a very good alternative to merino wool. They are much heavier, have the same capabilities. Then I have another shirt. This is a technical fabric that, what was the brand? I forgot the name. I will superimpose it here. Really good for traveling. So I do like this kind of shirts that have the property not to smell. Those are perfect for traveling. Then I have some clothing to sleep in, some more socks, creatine. I'm currently taking creatine, or I have started creatine 2 months ago, and I actually had a leftover package because obviously you don't want to go through TSA check with a zipper full of white powder. So I kept this bottle so people would see, okay, this is creatine, this is not something illegal. But again, no one was really caring to look inside the bag, although there was a huge kind of chunk in here with powder. Yeah, no one cared. That was in there. You have to take it regularly. That's why I'm traveling with that. And that's basically it. So clothing, probably more clothing than other people usually pack for a 3-night travel. But again, because this is business travel, I really wanted to make sure that I can change clothing a little bit to kind of look representable and don't look like I'm wearing the same clothes for 4 days. So that's the reason why I probably pack more than other people would. But as you can see here, you can fit so much stuff. I mean, a mechanical keyboard in addition to clothing for 4 days, plus a jacket inside this little carry-on bag. Is amazing. This is really cool. And this only weighing 2 kilograms is a game changer if you compare it to hardshell carry-ons, especially if you are only allowed to carry 8 kilograms of weight. So yeah, highly recommend. Alright, I'm back home in Hamburg. Let's talk about these 2 bags and my final verdict about both of these, the Alpaka Flow Tote and the Bellroy Lite carry-on. I kept calling this the Transit Light carry-on. That was my mistake. It's only called the Light carry-on. First and foremost, let's talk a little bit about the combination of the 2. So as I've mentioned in the introduction, my goal was to carry not only business clothing for a 3-night business trip, meaning I want to change clothing every single day. Therefore, I had a little bit more clothing with me, plus carrying a whole editing setup with not only a laptop, but also a docking station, mechanical keyboard, multiple SSDs, cables, and whatnot. And I wanted to carry all of them in both bags in a way that would be inconspicuous to the workers at the airport and also the crew of the airplane, so that they would not kind of perceive the bags as heavy luggage and therefore potentially would ask me to check in one of these bags. And with that goal in mind, I honestly, truly believe both of these bags succeeded so well. The Light carry-on from Bellroy, this being soft shell, really helped to kind of eliminate the weight of the case. I was actually looking to use the Bellroy Transit hardshell carry-on case, but I did notice the empty weight of that bag is already at 2 kilograms, if I'm not completely mistaken, or a little bit more. I think it's even 3 kilograms. I think this one is 2 kilograms and that one is 3. And putting everything into that hardshell case meant that I was at least 1 kilogram over the weight limit of the carry-on bag. So this being soft shell actually allowed me to carry within the limitations of carry-on luggage. And having a bag that is very well organized, and I really feel that this is extremely well organized with these 2 internal packing cube styles, plus this huge space, whilst everything in a soft shell also means that it accommodates a little bit with its flexibility, a little bit more of items. I mean, I have this creatine powder bottle in here that is unnecessarily bulky, and with the soft outer fabric, it actually was able to expand a little bit and accommodate more items while still being overall lightweight. And although this is a soft shell bag, with the back structure and the bottom structure and this handle that also acts like a stand for these two rollers, which actually rolled really well, it meant it could stand on its own if you pack it out intelligently. And even with the bag on top of the handle, it stood on its own. When I mean packing intelligently, I meant that you kind of have to utilize the whole vertical space. So in the segment of this bag, I mentioned that I had the DOP kit here and none other bulky items. If I would have packed bulky items in here, nothing at the bottom, it would have meant that it would be a little bit top heavy. That is what I mean with intelligent packing. So I knew that the DOP kit would be on the top, but I put all my socks and underwear at the bottom, giving it a little bit more of a better distribution in the vertical space, and therefore it was much easier for the bag to stand up on its own. So you have to kind of think about that. All of the handles, the side handles, this bottom handle, actually made it so easy to maneuver this bag in the cabin, because you have to kind of think about this as a two roller. So you kind of have to roll it in this orientation. When you have a four roller, you can kind of roll it sideways through the gangways. With this, it was a little bit crowded, so I opted to put the handle away and carry it with some of these handles, and it worked perfectly. So the handles are comfortable, the whole structure is really good, and you can hide away the top handle inside the zipper. That was really good. The only thing that I noticed, and I hope you can kind of see it in here, I have a couple of scuff marks here that I won't be able to get out of, or get off this bag. And that is actually a little bit of a shame. I don't know what this is. This is because, as you've seen in the video, I was asked, or they looked for volunteers to gate check the bags, and I volunteered and I gate checked it, and unfortunately I have scuff marks. These on the bags are a little bit difficult to see on camera, but with the eye you will see some scuff marks here. So with a travel bag, it's bound to happen that there is some marks on there, and some let's say patina from traveling is something that I personally like on hard shell cases, but I have to admit, on a soft shell case it doesn't look that great. But that's not a fault of Bellroy. It's just something to keep in mind, that this will be a little bit difficult to keep clean if you potentially need to gate check it and it gets thrown around. It's not that easy to kind of be okay with some of these patina and scuff marks. So just something to keep in mind. So overall, I think this bag is amazing, and it will keep a place in my rotation when it comes down to traveling, especially business trips. I think this is amazing. I really like this light carry-on. Now, the Alpaka Flow Tote, and just like this bag, it did what I wanted it to do. Give me a very slim appearance in terms of not kind of shouting out to anyone that there is heavy equipment in here. It was really easy to maneuver. I really like this tote bag aspect, because just like this bag, when I gate checked this, I only went into the plane with this, and carrying it as a tote bag through those gangways was really good, because as I said, these inside the plane was crowded. I wasn't able, or I would have been able to carry this on my back, but then I would potentially have bumped this against someone's head who was sitting in one of these crowded seats. So having this off my back and then carrying it tote bag style with these extremely comfortable grab handles was a joy to use. I was able to fit so many items in here, as you have been able to see, which is due to the fact that just like the light carry-on, this is a very soft bag. It really helps when this is soft to kind of give you some flexibility in terms of packing bulky items in here, and it just kind of expands and kind of molds to what you carry inside. But this means there is not much padding. So I was really careful with putting this bag on the ground, careful not bumping this against any items. Also, when I had my laptop inside this laptop slot, that is padded to one direction, but there is a sheet of padding, not much, to kind of separate the laptop from anything that's inside here. I had a lot of metal and bulky items in this slot, and I was actually afraid that if I would lay this side where the laptop is, like so, on the ground underneath the airplane seat, I kind of was afraid that some of the weight would be too much on the laptop. So I always put the bag like so that the laptop would be on top and there wouldn't be heavy metal items kind of pressuring on my laptop. So that's what I did. So no proper padding on the bottom. There is some padding and the laptop slot is suspended, but overall this is a very soft bag, and I would be very careful to kind of put the bag on the ground. Don't drop this bag if you have a camera or a laptop inside. Don't drop it on the ground or carelessly just drop it next to your desk in the office. I would be a little bit afraid that some of my equipment would get damaged. Speaking of getting damaged and staying on the back here, as I've mentioned in one of the parts where I showed you what's inside, this metal carabiner is connected to this, for the lack of a better description, flimsy connection point. I'm not sure if this is steel reinforced, I cannot tell you. I wonder if this metal carabiner with lots of rubbing would kind of wear down this band, this connection point. Again, I don't know if this is steel reinforced. It doesn't feel like so. It feels strong, but still, this is a small little band that kind of holds the whole shoulder strap system. I don't know how well this works over a longer time. Continuing with the straps, although these straps are very thin, this bag was actually very comfortable to carry around despite the 7 kilograms of weight. I think it was 6.5 or 7 kilograms with everything inside. Especially when I went from the hotel to the office, I actually filled up my lug water bottle with 700 milliliters of water. So that's some additional weight. And overall, and we walked to the office, the director and I needed about 10 minutes to walk from the hotel to the office. It was really comfortable to carry, and I am extremely surprised how comfortable these shoulder straps are. What you need to keep in mind is that this system in tote pack mode, it kind of pulls the shoulder strap to the top. If you carry it in shoulder strap mode, this will basically kind of slide down and make these straps extremely long. You can kind of adjust it, obviously, but the bag does sit fairly low. I didn't mind it, and it actually made it surprisingly comfortable to carry around, and especially in warmer weather, because the bag was hanging quite low. My bag wasn't that sweaty, actually. So overall, I really enjoyed this bag. I do like how you can load it up. This front compartment, the admin compartment, is actually also really nice to organize your stuff. The water bottle slot that you can hide away, really good. Overall, everything besides this connection point is really well made. I cannot fault it at all. So both of these bags, I really enjoy. This combo, actually, I dare I say, personal item, carry-on bag, really good combination if you want to travel carry-on only. I found it to be really good for this business trip. It worked really good. I was kind of repeating myself a little bit, sorry about that. So yeah, highly recommend. If you want to get any of these items, don't forget there are affiliate links in the description below. With those, you won't pay more, but you will support this channel with a tiny, really small kickback of that sale. And if you do so, thank you very much. And yeah, what do you think about this combination? Yay, nay, you prefer hardshell, you prefer a backpack? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you want to see a different carry-on video, maybe the Bellroy Transit carry-on hardshell case that I use as an equipment roller, check it up here. YouTube thinks that you like the video down here. And don't forget to subscribe by clicking the button up here. That way we see each other in the next video. And maybe you want to help me to get to 70,000 subscribers by, I don't know, next year or something. And if you watch to the end, post a luggage emoji at the end. Thank you very much.